Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I am out at one of the preserves that I'm doing a project at, and I am sitting here crouched down in the grass because I'm about 15 yards from a rabbit. And I know this might sound strange, but it's not very often that I get to photograph rabbits, because usually they're in the brush. They're really hard to photograph, and this one's out in the open. And I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes now, and it is just sitting here and actually just started eating again, which is really nice. So I'm just going to sit here, get some pictures and videos of it eating, and yeah, let's see what else we can get today. Alright, I've been sitting here for about a half hour now, and I could probably sit here for another half hour. This is a very photogenic rabbit. It's awesome to be so close to it and have it just act pretty naturally. But it's early morning, and I came here this morning so early, hoping that there'd be some more activity with the birds and the wildlife in the forest. So I'm going to backtrack and go back the other way up the trail and continue on farther, hopefully leaving this rabbit in peace and letting it continue to eat on this trail. So I came back around the trail. The rabbit was still foraging when I walked away, so that's always a good feeling. So I looped back around, and there is a down limb that's kind of in this shrubby section, and then beyond that there's a whole bunch of sumac trees with berries on top, and there seems to be a lot of birds perching either on the sumac trees or on this dead limb that's kind of hanging over the trail. So I'm going to make my way over that way a little bit closer and see if I can get some pictures of the birds as they perch there, because it's nice because it's kind of jutting out onto the trail where it's open, so the background is far away, which kind of creates a nice effect. So I'm gonna scooch down that way and see if anything comes out to perch. There's cedar waxwings around, there's gray catbirds, phoebes, and a couple different sparrows, so hopefully one of them will come out. hear that around me right now, but there is a huge mixed flock of nuthatches, chickadees, tufted titmice, downy woodpeckers, but a lot of them are up in the canopy. I only got a glimpse of a nuthatch as it kind of crept down the bark a little bit of a tree, but the rest of them, they're high up, and I'm just hoping that some of them come down. It's so cool being surrounded by all of these birds. Well, the mixed flock has moved on, so it's time for me to move on as well. I didn't get very many pictures of them because they stayed up high in the canopy, but I'm going to continue on down the trail now. It leads down to a brook eventually, so I'm going to head down that way, and hopefully there'll be some more activity down by the water. Well, I've made it down to the brook, and now it's just time to explore and hopefully find some wildlife around the brook. The good news is today it is very cloudy, so that means I can hopefully get some long exposures with the water without blowing out all the whites in the water. So I'm going to try to do some of that, and we'll see what we can get. This would be a great spot to find water thrush, but I think it might actually be too late in the year for them. They might have started to migrate south by now, so unfortunately there's not that much activity in this section, but I'm going to continue up the brook and hopefully find some more stuff up that way. So I was taking a lot of nature pictures of the water, long exposure, and I just mentioned that I thought that all the Louisiana water thrushes were probably gone by now. I just saw one. So now I'm gonna try to set myself up and hopefully get some pictures of it. It was up on a tree about 30 yards away from me, and let's see. I'm just gonna move back down that way a little bit and see if I can actually find it. I don't want to get too close and then flush it out. So let's see. Okay, so it just actually flew in front of me on the brook. So I'm gonna head over this way, which is perfect because there's a sharp bend in the brook, and I can actually sit right here where the bend comes. It's moving away from me right now, I can see it, but it's foraging on the rocks, so that's awesome. I'm going to get into position on the other side. There's a little footbridge here I can cross, and that's going to get me just a little bit closer because I have some shrubs and brush in my way right now. So I'm going to go over that way so that I can get a better view of it. Just don't want to scare it. Alright, this is really nice. There's actually a lot more bird activity on this section of the brook. It's a much flatter section, which probably means that there's more insects in these waters, so there might be more bird species as well. There's some tufted titmice, phoebes, and I think there's a pair of water thrushes, because I think that they actually were chasing each other through the woods at one point. But the one that I had seen went farther down the brook, probably about 40 yards or so in front of me. So now I just need to sit here patiently and quietly, and hopefully they'll come back down this direction, because right now I'm kind of set up looking straight down the brook, and I kind of set myself up to be about even with the large rocks in the water on the brook. So if it perches on those large rocks, I should have a nice clean background, but we'll just have to wait and see and hope it comes back. I think it might actually be, it is coming back this way. Here we go. Came a little bit closer this way, and then it ended up turning around and going back that way. But it's in the area. I'm in a good spot, so I just need to sit and hopefully it'll come closer again. Well, the water thrush it's been here twice, and it has since flown away, I believe. It was chirping off into the woods a little bit. It's a very distinct chipping call. It almost sounds very metallic, and once you kind of recognize it, it's pretty hard to forget. So it was doing its call a little while ago, but it's been quiet now for about 10 minutes. So I'm just going to continue sitting here and hopefully it comes back again, because it has come back twice now. So I think I just need to be a little bit more patient and hopefully it'll come back. Well, I've been sitting here for about 2 hours now. You can tell, I mean, it's gotten so much darker. The clouds are really rolling in now. And I have not seen the water thrush in quite some time now. It actually flew directly past me at one point, and that was about 45 minutes ago now. I was hoping it was going to come back around, but I have not heard it at all. And I think even if it came back now, I wouldn't be able to get really any decent pictures of it. I mean, I have my ISO up to like 12,000 right now. So even if I take a picture of it, it's gonna be what it is. I mean, so I think I'm gonna pack up and head out. Head back up the trail that way. I mean, sometimes it's just how it goes. But I was happy I got a few pictures of it, and now it's just time to move on. We'll see what we can find farther up the trail. Hopefully up that way the canopy's not so dense, so there'll be a little bit more light filtering in, so I can hopefully get some pictures if there's anything moving around up there. Before I headed down the trail farther, I decided to head upstream a little bit on this brook, because I haven't been up this way before, and it looks like it widens out a little bit, and I'm wondering if maybe a water thrush might be up this way as well. So I trying not to break every stick in the forest here. I mean, this opens up nice. It's a nice sandy bank, which sandy bank isn't really good for water thrush. They like the rocks, the gravel, because that's going to be a better surface for insects to be holding on, which means that there's more food for them. So this might not be a good spot for them, but I'm just going to continue on down, and maybe farther up things might change around this bend up here. I see a lot of holes in trees, a lot of woodpecker activity, but I haven't heard or seen that many woodpeckers, which is odd, especially since these look like pileated woodpeckers, and I have not heard a single pileated woodpecker the entire time I've been here. So I'm just going to keep exploring farther down, and if nothing's down there, I'm just going to turn around and head up the trail. Well, I went a little bit farther down along the brook, and it transitioned from a sandy bank brook back into a rocky brook, and now there's a little section, probably about 20-30 yards, sections is just a straight brook, and there's all sorts of rocks and boulders along the edges, and I'm going to make my way. There's a bit of a flat rock right in the center down here. I'm going to set myself up and aim up the brook, and hopefully with a little bit of luck, hoping that the water thrush might come back. This would be a perfect spot for it. They love these rocky boulders. So I'm just gonna sit here and hopefully things will work out. This is a perfect spot. How my camera's set up, I'm like perfectly level with the rocks and the brook. It's beautiful. Now I just need a bird. I'm hoping too that maybe some birds might come down to drink from the brook, because there's a little feather. You can see the little feather. It's a scarlet tanager that's calling above me. I believe that's what it's from. So it would be really nice if a bird came down and drank out of the brook as well. And down below me that way is a really calm section, and it's also really open as well. And I saw some deer tracks up along the brook behind me, coming up along the brook, and if anything comes up behind me, I should be able to see it pretty clearly as well. So I think I just need to sit, be patient, and hopefully I'll have some better luck here than I did back in the other spot. Well, I guess the photos that I got of the water thrush earlier are the only ones I meant to get today, because I've been here for another 45 minutes. Haven't heard it, haven't seen it, no sign of it whatsoever. I did see a little phoebe that took a dip a little bit over the rocks. I didn't see it get anything, but I saw it shaking off the water on the stick. So that's gonna be it for me. I'm going to pack up and head back up the trail and continue on that way and see what happens. I was walking back and I just decided to look at this beautiful tulip poplar right here, and I took a closer look at the bark, and there's all sorts of scratch marks from black bear on it. They look pretty old. It looks like the tree has kind of scarred over. You can tell if it's a fresh scratch if you can see kind of the lighter wood showing through, and it looks like they've all healed over. But it looks like at one point this was kind of a scratching tree, which is a way that bears kind of mark their territory. They scratch it, they rub against it, put their scent on it. So that's really cool to see. It's a shame that none of them are really that fresh, but I mean, it's a good sign. It's a sign that this is a spot that is definitely used by wildlife. It's just the unfortunate situation that I haven't really seen much. But it could also be time of day. I mean, it could be that things are out here in the middle of the night. But it's always cool to see. Keep your eyes open when you're out in the woods, because you never know what you might find on trees, especially big ones. Even though it looks like that scratching tree wasn't used recently, there was definitely bear here recently, because there's a footprint in the sand along this brook. I was walking along it back towards the trail, and there looks like one front paw and one rear paw in the sand. I don't see any more, but this is definitely a good spot to find things. I hiked back uphill through the forest, hoping to find more wildlife, which may be a little bit more cooperative to photograph. While I was unsuccessful today, I had spent a few days at this preserve working to gather footage for the project I was working on. I wanted to share some of those photos and videos I was able to get over the course of my time here with you. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. And now I hope you enjoy these photos and videos of the amazing wildlife that can be found here. I'll see you next time.